G'day there guys, give me attention here, back at it again with another episode of r/Entitled People. Now if you love today's content, I want you to tell me what you think of it down in the comments, sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, and enjoy the bloody good stories we're gonna do. Posted by user Catty Mouse, titled, "We're paying them to work, don't give them warm drinks unless they're going to reduce the fee." Another day, another entitled Karen. This is literally happening as I type. So for those who haven't seen my recent posts, I'm a veterinary nurse living near the Alps in Southeast Australia. It's winter, it's cold, and it's calving season. Myself and boss dude have been called out to a farm to assist with a bovine birth. It's the cow's first labour, so the farmer wanted us nearby just in case. It's just after 4 AM and we've been here since 11 PM. It's also -5 degrees Celsius, 23 degrees Fahrenheit for the Fahrenheit fam. I have thermals on under my scrubs and several other layers, but I'm still very cold. Adding to my situation, I'm also in the second trimester of pregnancy, so prolonged cold really isn't something I want to be. The farmer is one of our regulars and he's lovely. When I started shivering, he went inside and grabbed some blankets for me to wrap myself up in while we sit and monitor this labor. A few minutes later, his phone rings and it's his wife yelling at him. He rolls his eyes and says, "It's freezing out here. The VN is pregnant and it's just a blanket," and hangs up. A little while later, he asks boss dude and I if we'd like a warm drink to keep us going, returns to the house and comes out with a thermos for both of us. Coffee is exactly what I needed, for the warmth and for the caffeine to keep my mind alert during these awful hours. Farmer's wife comes outside and starts screaming at the farmer, then comes down to us and demands that we either give her the warm drinks we've already started drinking, or that she will expect a fee reduction for using their resources while on the job. There's a pandemic, so what is she gonna do if we give back the drinks that have been exposed to our saliva? Sure, Karen, we'll keep the coffees and take off the 70 cents it costs to make 2 thermoses of coffee. You're still paying for our time after hours on site. And now she's demanding a further discount to cover the cost of washing the blankets, which have some hay on them. Or maybe we should just go home and not ensure the welfare of your cow and her calf. We've still got a few more hours here. Wonder how many more cents she'll demand gets knocked off our fee, because her husband has the audacity to be kind enough to make us comfortable while we wait in literal freezing conditions. Some people. Posted by user Ali Hope. Titled, "My mum is stealing money from me." I am 22 female. I'm currently no contact with everyone on my dad's side. They stopped talking to me when I was 12 after my dad lost a custody battle. Recently, my grandfather reconnected with my sister after she reached out to him. He wants a relationship with me, but I was against it after years of dealing with abandonment issues. About a year ago, he wanted to make amends. My mum agreed to take $7,500 from him to be used to help me get a car. He felt bad and wanted to help out. I didn't want to take his money, but she took it on my behalf for me. I didn't want money from someone I didn't want a relationship with. It's been around a year, and my mum took this money and never used it for a car or anything. When I confronted her about it, she said that she's using the money for stuff like insurance, which I don't even have. She then said she used it for pet food for when I was working less hours. If I talk about the car aspect, she says about how I never wanted the money, and she says how there is an agreement that the money is used for my expenses. I don't trust her with the money, and she told me not much of that was left. My sister is now giving me her old car for $500. I asked my mum if she could give my sister the $500 and give me $7,000 to invest in my future. She said I was not given the money because I can't be trusted with it. I mentioned I was planning on getting my first tattoo and a PC soon, and she said this is why I can't be trusted with money. I was going to put aside some for moving, a new PC, and a new car, because my sister's car is a 2004, so I think it would last 2 years at most. She said this is not what the money is for, so she refuses to let me have any, and keeps saying how she will get the money that she had to use back. When I told her that I would reach out to my grandfather if she didn't either return the money or give it to me, she threatened to kick me out. Now she gets to keep the money that I never asked for, and I will never see a penny of it. I have no idea what to do about this, and it really bothers me. Posted by user Coffee Bean Scene. Titled, I've been waiting 3 whole minutes. This service is ridiculous. So, as a lot of you people know, pubs opened on the 4th of July in Britain, and due to the pandemic, they've all been closed for months, and can only open as long as we follow the government rules. Our pub used to run as most do, with customers entering, walking up to the bar, ordering, paying, and waiting for a drink, and then choosing where they want to sit. The rules now are that all customers have to wait to be seated by FOH and have their details taken. We have to then do waitress and table service, and after the waiter has taken the order and payment, we get a ticket at the bar and start making drinks. The waiter then comes and collects the drinks and takes them to the customer at their tables. Customers are not allowed to come to the bar, stand at the bar to drink, or walk around at the bar from table to table. What with it being the first day of business, we weren't sure what to expect or how many staff we might need, so started with 2 bar staff, 1 waitress, and 1 member of staff acting as FOH. We also had an app made with a booking system so we wouldn't get too overwhelmed and could stick to the rules of limiting the amount of people in the building at any one time. The day started off fine. The general manager, myself, and another bar staff member opened up, over-prepared, and went through the plan of action for the day. The waitress came in, and then we started our day. The majority of the customers were lovely, happy to be out, and patient knowing that the pandemic meant everything was different for pubs and bars. They even appeared to be giving correct contact details and taking the whole thing quite seriously, as they should do. We didn't have any Mickey Mouses or McLovins. That was until Karen came in. Her friend had booked a table for 2. We had a booking deal. They paid £5 per person to ensure the table and then get a free drink. The selected drinks are usually more than £5. They spent a good 5 to 10 minutes choosing their first drinks. We made them, the waitress took them over, and everything was fine. However, me and the general manager had already made eyebrow moves at each other to indicate Karen alert. The waitress also noticed, explaining how Karen had been short with her when ordering, but gave Karen the benefit of the doubt, saying that she thought she might have been interrupting Karen and the woman's date. Roll on the second round. The bar was now getting busy, almost filling to capacity, and still with just me and another worker on the bar. We were mixing drinks as fast as we could, but anyone who makes cocktails knows you can only go as fast as you can shake Boston. As soon as 1 ticket was being completed, another 4 were printed. The GM has also started taking orders as the waitress was getting a bit overwhelmed, but that just meant that double the orders were coming in for us. Karen ordered a bottle of wine. Okay, cool. So I find the correct wine, get the waitress to check it's the correct wine with Karen, and then uncork it. The waitress comes back to the bar. Karen's changed her mind. Doesn't want this wine at all. Decides to get a glass of something else instead. Fine. A few minutes later, general manager comes over stressing, "Where's her order?" She says she's been waiting an extortionate amount of time. Starts to berate me a bit because I, as a manager, should be faster and should be keeping an eye out on tickets and my staff, etc., etc. I asked the general manager what the order was. Karen had ordered 2 complicated cocktails. Okay, fine. We are a little backed up. I look through my tickets and speak to my colleague. We haven't made it yet. I look at the ticket machine with the 3 tickets that had not long printed. Her order was there. She had placed the order literally 3 minutes before complaining. I showed my manager and also showed her the 2 tickets I needed to make before Karen's. My general manager smiled and apologized. I knew she was just stressed and told her it was fine and I'd get the Karen's ticket when I got to it, in order. My general manager asked to try and make it fast, as Karen was now loudly complaining to anyone that would listen, which was basically no one, as everyone was just trying to have a good time and can see that we are slammed. Karen waited a full 8 to 9 minutes for her 2 cocktails to be made, 2 different ones, both with quite a few ingredients, when we were at full capacity. She still moaned about the wait when she left as she had other important things to do, said the service was bad and she was in a rush, and why didn't we understand that the customer in a rush should be served first? Like I give a crap. Don't drink fancy cocktails before you do stuff if it's so important. I finished my 8.5-hour shift. I hadn't eaten, I hadn't sat down, had only managed to pee and smoke once all shift. had a sanitizer station fall off the wall and cover me in hand sanitizer, so I spent the second half of my shift with half my chest and one arm all damp and sticky while it dried, and made 0 in tips. I walked home glad that I had worked the earlier shift, ate the salad I had packed for my lunch, and passed out on the sofa, ready to do it all again the next day. Hope you got your important crap done, Karen Hun. So important you needed to do it drunk. Posted by user Orange Cookies. Titled, Entitled Doctor Won't Take You're Fired for an Answer. Our cast are me, then 47 female, Dr. Entitled, my mother, the insurance provider, and Dr. Awesome. 3.5 years ago, I made an appointment to get new prescriptions for 3 medications I'd been taking, and only got one of them filled at the appointment. Dr. Entitled took my blood pressure and weight and wrote one of the prescriptions that I needed for blood pressure medication. I asked her for prescriptions for the other 2 meds, but she spent most of the 15 minutes allotted for this prescription talking about weight loss, not about my other 2 medications. Now, while I understood I needed to lose a few pounds, I couldn't be as physically active as I'd liked because of knee pain, and a 15-minute medication appointment was not the appropriate time for a weight loss discussion. I say, bipolar disorder has nothing to do with my weight. If you can't write these other 2 prescriptions, could you at least refer me to someone who can? If you lose weight, it will help your mood. She refused to refer me to another provider for the other 2 medications, a mood stabilizer and an antidepressant. I walked out of Dr. Entitled's office with only 1 prescription and ended up feeling like I'd wasted my time. Travel time to the clinic plus time in the waiting room plus time in the doctor's office plus time in the pharmacy equals 3 hours spent to get only 1 prescription filled. I ended up going to a walk-in clinic at the county hospital to get the other 2 meds. The next day, I called Dr. Entitled's office to let her know I was firing her, and my insurance provider to explain the reason for my self-referral to the county hospital. Insurance provider says, "We are very sorry this happened. You acted appropriately, and you can absolutely switch to another doctor." So I did, but of course, you know the story doesn't end there. A couple days after I fired Dr. Entitled, I got a text from Mum saying, "Your doctor, Dr. Entitled, called. She wants you to come back in and see her." How about no? I was livid, and frankly, creeped out that Dr. Entitled had called my mother. Mum was my emergency contact, but Dr. Entitled getting angry over being fired was not an emergency. I got phone calls and emails from Dr. Entitled's office for months telling me to come back in for a visit. Each time, I would reply that I'd fired her and changed doctors. It took the threat of an anti-harassment order to get her to leave me alone. Meanwhile, I saw Dr. Awesome. After my very first visit with Dr. Awesome, I had referrals for knee x-rays and physical therapy, for what turned out to be severe osteoarthritis. Posted by user Chitos Issei, titled, An entitled mother wants to force me to marry her son and disrespects me. She ends up scared. Good morning to all. I'll explain my first direct encounter with an entitled mother. I'd seen entitled people before, but I'd never faced a person until this case. The story takes place more or less a week before confinement in Spain, March 9th, a few weeks before I turned 21. It's transcribed from a WhatsApp audio that I sent to an acquaintance who knows about my relationship. I don't consider myself a very pretty girl. In fact, quite normal, but yes, striking for my style. It's like a combination between goth and when Edward Scissorhands put on a shirt with pants and suspenders. Only with long hair, around 70 centimeters, measuring 169. Green eyes with dark circles, a murderous glance, and a Slavic face, although not a model. That day, I went out with my partner to have a drink in some bar. We don't usually do it because of the age difference and because it would look bad in his work. He's in high school, and in my case, when I was a student, baccalaureate teacher. He's a good teacher, and many students love him, while he has co-workers who hate him and would take advantage of any excuse. We sat for half an hour on the terrace of an almost empty cafe drinking coffee, and at some point, a man came towards us. I'd seen him walk past us with a woman, his mother, and sit on the same terrace, right in front of me with several separation tables. He stood in front of us, looking at us. I looked at my partner, thinking that maybe he was a graduate student of his. I couldn't say if he was older than me. He was tall and big. He even had a short beard, but I've met guys like him who seem to be 25, but are actually 16 years old. P is partner, MS is man, son of entitled mother, EM is entitled mother. My partner says, "Is something wrong, boy?" The man says, after waking up from a kind of trance, "Oh, hi, I would like to take advantage of the opportunity and ask your daughter to go out." He looks at me, and I put my "if you come close to me, you'll be left without an arm" gaze. I would like to exchange numbers, and that maybe meet someday. I was a little surprised, but I was funny about asking your daughter out. I looked at my partner, and he gave me a look that I should answer, and besides, he was also laughing and needed to see how it went on. I say, no. What? Why? Me, trying not to frown, says, "Because not? I don't need an explanation." But then he looked at my partner and muttered before going back to his table, "Okay." I don't like that they came up to me, but if they're kind, it's bearable. And I can still say that the couple of balls you must have to ask a girl who goes with her father for that. The problem is when they start to insist or sound desperate. The man returned to his table, and my partner was joking a little bit about what had just happened, but soon we returned to the topic of conversation. Occasionally, I noticed something strange at the other table, and when I took a look, it seemed to me that the mother was looking towards us, but I thought it was just my imagination. About 15 minutes later, my partner came in to pay. I like to pay for myself, but he always insists, and I took the opportunity to quickly see my mobile's notifications. Then, I heard a kind of sigh growl. Next to the chair he occupied was that short woman, possibly over the age of 40, and incredibly similar to the Karen stereotype, with short blonde hair, pulled back into a small ponytail. "Why have you rejected my son?" A bit confused, I look around for that boy, but he was nowhere to be found. "Sorry? What did you say?" Entitled mother, in a tone of theatrical superiority, with its separations between words. "Why have you rejected my son? He has come very politely to ask you if you would be his girlfriend, and you have rejected him." "Not really. He asked me to go out, and I said no. I don't even know who you are." "Did you not understand? He has bothered going here to ask you if you would be his girlfriend. You could have a little respect for him." "Well, I didn't hit him. I just rejected him." "Right, sure. I have seen how you have been laughing at him. Surely it was your father who said to reject him." Actually, I don't know what conclusion they draw that my partner is my father. We aren't physically alike. "No one can decide who I date. Also, I already have a partner. I looked inside the cafe, but he was not there, so I assumed he went to the bathroom. "I have been looking at you. You would be a good wife. My son is a good man. Surely that boyfriend of yours doesn't exist. You just made it up." Me, getting up to start leaving, say, "Ma'am, I don't know you. Stop bothering me. If your son is looking for a girlfriend, download Tinder or some of that other crap." "How dare you disrespect?" I don't know if she refers to herself or her son. "So, from those pervert pages you get all your boyfriends?" I don't know what my face should be like at this time. I was about to laugh all over his face, and besides, surely many people were watching us as they passed. I say, "Ma'am, leave it now. Not until you accept my son. He will educate you to be a good wife. I want grandchildren." Well, that's when I saw my partner coming out of the cafe and walking over to me while taking out a cigarette. "Who's this? Your new friend?" No. "Sir, I know you told this one to reject my son." "What?" "But I won't allow disrespect for my son or me. Besides, being ill-educated, she's a cheeky one. She has confessed that she is dating several men at once from those pervert pages." "Oh yeah?" He eyed me suggestively as he tried to hold back his laughter. "Don't tell me." "Yes, I have reason to believe that she has been bringing men into your home and charging for it." I was freaking out at this point. My partner opened his eyes wide in surprise, as the mother crossed her arms looking at me with a superior smile. He looked at me and hugged me around the waist. Wow, don't tell me it's just the price of coffee, or do I have a discount, love? I slapped him on the chest as I put an arm around his shoulder and giggled. It also discounts the time I spent at your house, the movies, the books, and the perfume you wear. We kissed quickly, but not as much as that mother changing skin tone and expression. Her skin paled almost like mine, and her face was between awe and dread so great that she could barely scream before turning and leaving quickly. We also left, not that we will attract more attention. Posted by user Silence of the Ham 674, titled, Please don't be rude to your servers. Not as exciting as the other posts on here, I know, but I'm 17 and work in a small newsagent/sweet shop in a small town, mostly populated by elderly people. Most of them are lovely, but you get the odd one that thinks they're entitled to everything. This happened about a month ago, and due to the virus, I'm working in the shop on Saturdays on my own because it's too small to social distance with my bosses. I'm fine with this and actually like being on my own and focusing on stocking up sweets, making up and decorating chocolate boxes, etc. Also, due to the virus, my bosses decided to start delivering boxes of sweets, and due to the overwhelming response, delivered them by pre-order only. Anyways, so I'm at work and the phone rings. I answer, and it's this older woman. She asks if we can deliver a box to her son, who lives about 20 minutes away today. I should also mention that I got this call at about 11. We close at 1, and to pack everything away, I need to start closing by 12:30, which leaves little time to make up a sweet box as well as serve customers and do all the other jobs that I need to do. I told her we couldn't get the box out today, as we do them by pre-order only, but that we could tomorrow. She started literally whining down the phone, like some spoiled kid who'd been told no, saying, is there really no way we can get one out today? And she really, really needs one today. I asked her if she was aware of the sweet shop's Facebook page. She said she was. I asked her if she wouldn't mind directing any orders over there because my boss can receive them directly and answer any questions. Woman on the phone started calling me unhelpful. I said again she can contact my boss if she doesn't want to speak to me, and she says she finds it difficult to get on Facebook because she's of a certain age. So I offer to take a message for her to pass on to my boss, and she switches to the whiny voice again saying, is that really all that you can do? At this point, I start getting a little irritated and tell her I've given her the option to speak to my bosses if she wants to. She started telling me that I have a bad attitude and calling me useless, etc. So I say, I've said I can take a message for you, and that's all I can do for you, I'm afraid. Goodbye. And I hang up the phone. I don't know if it was the shock of me standing up for myself or the anger of how rude she was to me, but after I hung up, I proceeded to burst into tears. I had to shut up the shop and sit in the back and call my boyfriend, telling him everything that just happened until I calmed down. After that, I texted my boss letting them know what happened, and that I had closed up the shop for about 15 minutes and then reopened and carried on as normal. My boss was completely fine about the whole thing, and really, really nice. In fact, she told me this woman had been in contact with her on Facebook, so not too hard to get onto. Just asking if she could call, but mentioned nothing about me. I think that what I'm trying to say in a really long-winded way is, please be nice to the people that serve you. Things like this have happened way too many times to me because of older people thinking they can bully me because I'm younger than them. And for all older people who think younger people are the problem, I've never had a problem with anyone that's come to the shop under the age of 30/40. It really costs nothing at all to be a nice person, and you don't know what the other person on the other side of the counter is going through. Please just be thoughtful with your words. Posted by user AFK2204, titled, Hyper-religious lady tries to rip my shirt off because I'm a brainwashed Satanist. First post here, English is not my first language, etc. So this happened last summer, but me and my friends still talk about it because it was hilarious. The cast are me, your friendly neighborhood metalhead, F1 and 2 are my friends, and EP is entitled middle-aged lady. The story goes as follows. I was walking in a park with my friends, and it was hot, So we were all wearing shorts and t-shirts. Now, being quite a metalhead, I was wearing one of my trusty band shirts, more specifically a Slipknot shirt. It has the band logo on the front, along with the image of what would seem like an angel with a cow skull for head, open arms, and a snake climbing on her. It's a beautiful shirt, one of my favorites. As I said, we were walking and talking, when we see a middle-aged woman coming towards us, and the conversation was something like, "Excuse me, you can't wear that here, there are children." We were confused and she said, "I'm talking to you, fatty." Look, I'm not what you would call skinny, I've got to admit. What's the problem, lady? Your shirt. It has blasphemous and satanic imagery on it. You could impress the children here. Lady, it's not blasphemous nor satanic. I'm sure I'm free to wear whatever I like as long as it has no gory imagery or real blasphemy on it, so please leave us alone. No, it's an angel with the skull of the goat. That's clearly a Satan-worshipping message. It's blasphemy. You might as well be going around bestemmiando. I live in Italy, and we have a form of cursing, bestemmia, that involves God. That is really blasphemy, even though it's never used with that intent. And generally, people don't use it in public, since it can cost you a fine. It's just a drawing of a woman with a skull and wings. As I said, it's not blasphemous. I've had this shirt since Christmas and nobody has ever complained about it, even though I have many Christian friends. I even wear it at school, and even my religion teacher says it's a cool shirt. Please just leave us alone. You're lying. That's a satanic shirt, and you are clearly brainwashed to accept the satanic message that it has on. You need to take it off. I'm not going to take it off. As I asked you, leave us alone. Now, during this, my friends just stood there, pretty annoyed, but they didn't want to get involved with her. At least until now. The entitled parent said, "You are taking that off now," and grabbed my shirt. At that point, even though I had been calm all the time, I snapped. I said, "I'm not in perfect shape, but I'm 1.85 meters tall and I'm pretty muscular. I also have practiced boxing for a couple of years." When she started pulling the neck of my shirt, I hit her with a punch in the stomach. She fell and started screaming, "You Satanist! I'm calling the police." At which my friend replied, "Lady, you attacked him first. I don't think it's in your best interest to call the police." "No, he hit me. You'll see." "Oh, please do. But before you call them, I think you should notice the security camera on that street lamp about 5 meters from where we are. I think the police will want to see that footage if you call them." She stood there for a second, then put away the phone and said, "Fine, but be sure that God will punish you. You will burn in hell." Now, I know it wasn't necessary, but at that point I wanted to have some fun with this crazy woman, and I said, "Well, praise Satan then." She then started screaming at the top of her lungs about how she was going to find where I lived, and how she would have sent an exorcist to release me from Satan's grasp, and went on insulting me and my friends. We just stood there laughing, until this old man came over asking her to stop screaming because she was disturbing everyone. She tried to explain how we were some kind of Satanist monsters, but this dude looked in the eyes and said, "Lady, I don't care if they're Satanist, Buddhist, or some other religious bullcrap, stop screaming or I'll call the police." She angrily walked away, not before reminding me that God is going to punish me. Alright, and I think that's where we're going to leave today's episode, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed the content today. If you guys loved watching it as much as I loved making it, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel already if you haven't. Tell me what you thought of it down in the comments below, maybe like the video, who knows. I'd also like to take this time to thank my awesome Patreon and channel members. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably be homeless on the streets of Ireland, crying, Irish dancing all over town. It would just be a mess. But no, for real, you guys are up on the screen now. Thank each and every one of you guys. And if you personally want to join the club yourself, there are links down in the description below. There's also the join button next to the subscribe button. Small monthly fee, but hey, it goes a long way to help me create more awesome content. Well, with that said, guys, I hope you do have a lovely day, night, sleep, evening, day at work, day at school, whatever you're up to. I hope you keep awesome today. You're looking amazing, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.